What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about the 500 round review of the Diamondback DB9 Gen 4. Please keep in mind before we go further that this is the Gen 4, this is the improved version. This is the version of the DB9 that a lot of people have been having good luck with and very little reliability issues with, unlike they've had in the past with their previous generations. But before we get started, hit the like button. Drop a comment for the algorithms down below. Just put 2A in the comments. Tell me what you carried, what kind of holster, what kind of everyday carry ammo you were carrying. Help the channel out. Anyways, if you've ever watched this channel before, you know I think pocket carry is one of the best ways to carry. Now, you shouldn't pocket carry every single day or just because you can, in my opinion. But there's a lot of circumstances where I pocket carry, and I would say outside of work, 50% of the time I'm pocket carrying, right? It's just more easy to do physical activities. It's easier to print less. It's easier to just know you have something on you, know you have something you can get to, know you have something that's reliable, but at the same time, it's not going to interfere with your life or the life of others around you or make things awkward at the playground with other anti-2A family members or parents or whatever the case may be. So you just take something like this that's about the size of a wallet, throw it in your pocket, smaller than an iPhone, throw it in your pocket, about the width of an iPhone, maybe a little thicker, or about the same with the case, and you're going to have something on you. The Diamondback DB9, what I really like about it is it's chambered in 9mm. That is something you're not going to find in a lot of pocket pistols. They all tend to be 380, like this Glock 42, like my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, like the Taurus Spectrum, like the Ruger LCP and LCP Max. They're all going to be 380. A lot of people want that 9mm. Something close to it's going to be like a Glock 43. But even that makes it look very, very small. 6+1 on the left, 8+1 on the right. I mean, the Diamondback DB9 Gen 4 just makes it look very small. And that's the purpose of it. It's a pocket pistol, chambered in 9mm, that takes Glock sights, takes down like a Glock, and has been reliable. And actually, this wide grip makes it pretty darn ergonomic. You can actually get a pretty good purchase on the firearm, about 2.5 fingers with the pinky extension that I have on here. I also have the flush mag, but it's actually an awesome shooter. Now, I have a full shooting review on it on the channel in the winter. It was like -4 or something, and I was shooting this thing, and I put like 150 rounds through it that day, not a single hiccup. Since then, it's been very hard to get the round count up because I only have 3 mags for it, and they only take 6 rounds. So to get 500 rounds, it's actually been a challenge, but I've actually enjoyed it. And there's a bunch of things that I've noticed about this firearm that we're going to go over. One, the first thing you should notice is the price. All pocket pistols are going to be between about $200 and $400. That just is what it is. So they tend to be made a little cheaper, a little less material, a little bit more corners cut. The DB9 Gen 4 comes in about $240 almost anywhere. Takes plus P rounds, so you can get really good 9mm defensive rounds out of a short barrel and be just fine. Has awesome front and rear serrations, has a pretty decent finish. I got the stainless steel version because I know when you pocket carry, there's going to be moisture. When there's moisture, there's rust. Obviously, there's no rail. You're not going to put a light on a little pocket pistol like this, but it does have great texturing. Like I said, very good ergonomics for its size. One thing I noticed is that all the controls work pretty well, except for the slide stop. The slide stop does slip every now and then. What does that mean? When it's locked back, sometimes it'll just, if you bump the firearm the wrong way or whatever the case may be, it will release. And that's just a little machining, just a little out of spec machining, but everything else just runs flawlessly. The one thing I did notice, because I did the review in the winter, I was using Magpul gloves, which are my go-to carry gloves in the winter. If it's cold, if you live in a state that gets really cold, you're going to be wearing gloves. You want to make sure that you can shoot your everyday carry firearm with gloves on, and then you're not going to have a problem getting that finger in that trigger guard. And I always say that in videos because it is important if you live somewhere cold like me. There is very little space in there, but what I did notice is the trigger sort of moves out of the way just enough to get that glove in there and still be very precise and accurate with that trigger. And if you watch, it's a very accurate firearm. I was shooting, 25 feet, 30 feet, 35 feet, whatever the case may be, and I was hitting, 5 out of 6 times, which is, in a self-defense encounter, you're fine. And I wasn't missing far left or far right, so chances are all those shots on a human in a self-defense encounter would have hit. On top of that, if you're carrying a pocket pistol, chances are it's going to be very up close. Now, things I really like about it, the metal trigger, the actual trigger pull itself. See, it's a little heavy, but it's very crisp. The reset is very short. It is like the perfect pocket pistol trigger. Like I said, the price is very favorable. For $250, you can pick one of these up, throw it in your pocket, and just have it as a pocket carry option. I don't like the fact that there aren't a lot of pocket holsters available for it. I've been carrying it in this DeSantis holster because this doesn't tend to get too soft. It tends to stay formed pretty well and fit really well. Also, it comes off very easily. I'm waiting for Vetter to drop their Gen 4 pocket holster for this. But I think the Gen 3s and Gen 2s scared a lot of people off with their reliability issues. But mine, flawless. It's even ran hollow points, Federal HSTs, SIG V crowns. Not a single issue out of this. Also the SIG P365 rounds, which are rounds designed for smaller barreled firearms, ran flawlessly out of this. So not a single hiccup. Another thing I really like is that beaver tail really protects your hand. This is a small firearm, guys. I can compare it, Glock 26 right here. I mean, look at that. It looks ridiculous, actually. It really does. You can go CZ P10S. This is a very tiny firearm. So the last thing you want to get is to be training and you start getting a slide bite, or your hand, have to get stitches or whatever the case may be. So they did it really good with that beaver tail, almost pushing your hand downward as well as preventing it from going upward. I like that about it. Honestly, a great firearm. For the price, you can't beat it. I think the previous generations have really messed up their how people think of them. But guys, if people can carry a Taurus and root for Taurus, then people can definitely root for Diamondback and like these firearms, because trust me, Diamondback has had much less issues than Taurus has, and people are diehard, ride or die for them, and it's just all about preference. The Diamondback DB9 not only looks great, but like I said, it takes Glock sights, takes down like a Glock, uses a Glock, similar Glock style, just an overall good firearm, runs very well. So I don't have a single issue with it. That is a Diamondback DB9 Gen 4 500 round review. Pick one up, guys. They're actually pretty sweet.